Good morning. Today I wanted to do a setup video for Mystro and go over the settings that I have in there when I'm using it. So when you download the app, this is the screen that's going to pop up and you're going to have to go through the setup process. So as you move through these screens, you get to the get started and then it's going to ask you to use your location. So we're going to say yes and we're going to do the notifications. And here's where you're going to link the services that you use. I use Uber and Lyft. I don't do Grubhub or Flex or any of the other services that are here. And to make it simple, we're going to just do Lyft because it's an easy one to set up. So let's go with that. You're going to enter your phone number and I'll do that, and I'm going to come back once I get this done. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. Okay, so once you log in and get your account linked, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to these little sliders here and you're going to turn this on, and then you're going to select the filters that you want to use. You're going to choose your jobs. We'll go through that here in a second. The pickup distance, the total distance, and then for me, I do dollar per mile. Let's see, and then we'll also talk a little bit about pickup zone and drop-off zone here in a second, but let's first go through. You're going to choose your jobs, and so I have the ones that I use with Lyft specifically, although I'm not in Excel, so we can get rid of that one. So these 5 job types with Lyft are the rides that are going to come through that I will accept because that's what I qualify for. And then the pickup distance, I have that set up. I use 4 miles. The total distance, I leave at 25. Sometimes I move it up to 30. Generally, it's always at 25. And then the dollar per mile for me, I have that set down here. My low end is $1. So anything less than $1, I want it to kick out because that's just not a profitable ride for me. Anything over $1 per mile works for me. And then on top of that, the pickup zones. I set the pickup zones because it allows me to select where I want to drive. And the way that this works is you're going to draw on the map basically like a bubble around the area that you want to work. Now the one thing about this is it's not really customizable. In other words, I can't draw a circle just around Sacramento and let's just say around Davis at the same time, or have 2 separate areas distinguished like that. What it does is it basically draws a map, bubble map, around the area that you want like that. So that's my pickup area, and I kind of distinguish the areas where I want to go. Like for example, I don't really like to go to Elk Grove. I have been including Woodland and Davis just because I've had some success there recently. But here in the north area where it goes up, and I'll put an arrow to show you what I'm talking about. I mean, part of that is there's an area right in the middle there, which is North Highlands, which I typically don't do rides in. I don't want to, but because of the way this draws out, I have to because I want to capture area around Cal Expo and where some of the hotels are around there. So it's not as customizable as, let's say, Para was, but at least it gives you some geographic restrictions that you can utilize for your pickups and drop-off. And the drop-off one is exactly the same as the pickup. You're going to draw another circle around the area that where you want to go to distinguish where you want the drop-off, so you can distinguish where you're picking up exclusively and drop off exclusively, or you can do both. So that kind of gives you the customizable element that Para used to have, which I do like about this. So we'll say save, and then it comes back, and we could do the same thing for the drop-off zone, but we don't have to do that at this point in time. One of the other things that you need to look at when you set this up is you need to go into this link right here where it says tap here to change the behavior. And when you click on that, it gives you the option down below here of what happens when the filter passes or fails, right? So as you can see here, it says filter pass action is automatic, auto accept immediately. And then what you want to do is you want to change the filter fail to auto decline immediately and move it away from the manual, because then that means when something comes in that doesn't meet the filters that you have set up, it just automatically kicks it out. You don't even have to think about it or look at it. It just automatically happens. And again, as I said, it happens really quick. I mean, there's sometimes when an offer comes in that it declines it so fast, it doesn't even show up on the screen. It happens so fast. It's just like a little flash and it's gone before you even get a chance to look at it. So that's really kind of how I use the app and set it up. One of the nice things about it is, again, this rideshare hotspot. And I'm going to put up a screenshot that I had from last night of when I was working. And here you can see right now where it's saying the hotspot is. I personally don't know how accurate that information is. I really think it's based on the people that are using Mystro maybe in your area that determines what a hotspot is. Other than that, I don't really know how they determine that. So I can't really speak to that. But once you have it linked and it's on, if you watch some of the videos, you can see where it gives the audible indication of, when to accept a ride. Let's talk about some of the cons. Right now, I don't know if this is specifically with the Android that it keeps doing this, but essentially after every day, I have to go back in and set this back up again. Now, I don't know if that's an Android problem and not an iOS problem. I'd be curious to know if you're using it, if you're experiencing that as well. But it's very frustrating that I have to go in and reset this up every single day. If you watch the video from last night, it didn't do that, but now it did it today. And it's been more so that it happens every day, that it kicks me out and it erases all the history that was in there. So I don't have that information anymore. And then it just basically starts all over. So that's very, very frustrating. So one of the other cons of the app is the cost. On an annual basis, the cost is $139.99 per year. On a monthly basis, not so bad at $4.99 per month, which puts it on par with what Maximo charges. But the cost is something to consider. And especially if it's unreliable as far as you having to reset it up all the time, that would be something that I would take into consideration. Is it really worth having to do that multiple times a week to get the app to run? As far as an alternative to Para, if you were using that, I think it's a viable option. I think it does have some downsides right now, and maybe they're going to get those things fixed. But in the meantime, I think if you're looking for something, maybe you struggle through with the downside just to have it, because it is pretty effective. I know that some people have downloaded it. They said they weren't able to get it running on the iPhone, but they were able to figure it out. There are some videos on YouTube that you can look at to help you get it set up on the iPhone. Obviously on the Android, it was very seamless. It was an easy process, as you can see. But with that, I think Mystro is definitely a good option for you to use. I really do like the interface. I like how it pulls up the dollar per mile and where you're going when a ride does come in. It's really easy to see, and it makes it easy to accept the ride because you can accept it from the Mystro app, not having to be in the Uber app to do that. You can do everything out of the Mystro app directly. You don't have to be in Lyft and Uber to accept the rides. You can do it from here. That's Mystro. If you have any questions, please let me know. Leave a comment below. And also please like, share, subscribe. We'd appreciate it. And if there's anything else you guys have that you want me to cover, please let me know, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks.